Yo, what's up? This is KallaTheYapper, and I'm back with another reaction. Today I'm gonna react to Zenless, to the Clown Boys, this 30-year-old man, Clown Boys video talking about some Zenless Zone Zero's 2.5 toxic positivity. Toxic positivity. My apologies. I think I need to preface this now before we even get into the reaction. This will be my third attempt to react to this video. Now, you may be wondering, why third attempt? What happened? Well, surprisingly, I keep getting called to go do something, and it interrupts me in the midst of the reaction. The first reaction didn't even get past probably 30 minutes. The second reaction, I was an hour and 35 minutes in, because I went in depth with a lot of things and brought some counter arguments. And now we're doing it again. This time, I hope to get this reaction underneath 30 minutes. If not 50 minutes at best. So instead of doing like in-depth stuff, I'm going to be brief and quick with my takes. When it comes down to things we're going to mention, like look at this. I'm in 11 minutes and 13. That's how far I got into it. We haven't even gotten past this other area when he started yapping about Astro, some Astro not good and all the nonsense. So we're going to start. I don't think even starting at the beginning even matters. But it kind of does. So we're going to start here. Then we're going to move forward to the Twitch tracker thing. Because I think that's what he mentions next. Then he mentions the tune thing. So we're going to start here, skip forward there. Then, rinse and repeat the process until we get to the other parts. Because we're going to tackle this piece by piece as we move forward. So let us rewind a little bit and begin, shall we?
Proof of it. I actually show the proof of it, ironically enough, in this video. When the community thinks an update is really good, even when the update actually isn't that good, well, they'll still tell you that you're wrong. And that's what happened over here. I even in this video bring up the 2.0 live stream, and I tell the community, guys, you mass dislike me for this, when 2.0 is probably the worst version update in the history of a gacha game, and the worst.
It wasn't. Homeboy lying out of his ass like crazy. 2.0, legit, the only part that I had 2 or 3 things people had an issue with. That was 1, the storytelling using a lot of black screen white text, and 2, the temple leveling up thing also was a part of the main story and content, which people had an issue with. So we had that going on. I can't remember what exactly the third issue was. In particular, I had it when I listened to Foxsoul's reaction to this video. I thought of the third one, but I can't remember it now, unfortunately. But anyway, yeah, there's only those 2 at the moment right now. Other than that, 2.0's update was great. Its rewards were also great. And this nigga right here tried to downplay the rewards to say that, oh, these rewards don't matter. To try to prop up Woo-Wah's rewards as better when Woo-Wah was lacking in terms of rewards for an anniversary update. Anywho, if you want to see my video related to that topic, I will link it in the description. And shoot, I'll link the playlist onto this reaction so you can go watch it yourself. Anyway, let's continue.
The worst anniversary that a gacha game has ever had as well. There's a reason why I immediately then show the Twitch tracker numbers that reveal to you that yes, 2.0, what?
The Twitch tracker numbers are false because it doesn't show the entire active player base. It only shows a portion of it, only on Twitch. You can't use Twitch tracker to be the end-all be-all for an entire game's trend or player base. I will go back to Foxsoul's video right here that shall further explain that point. About right here. I said go back. I only said that because I've done this part of my reaction already, and it's irritating to have to do this again, but I need to do this so y'all can get a better illustration. So let's play this.
All of this with Twitch tracker already. You can check that out. Basically, he's using viewer numbers from Twitch to try to say that this is the fan base, that this is what considerably is the interest of everything. And come the fuck on, dude. Like, this has been proven wrong multiple times. In the video that I got on the channel, we show that there's over 400,000 people just playing Zenless Zone Zero daily on weekdays alone. 400,000 players. When the weekend pops, over 600,000 players. An extra 200,000 players are playing on the weekends.
Shoot, I'll say this right now. During this Christmas year over here in the West, this week of Christmas, you better believe the amount of players playing Zenless right now probably even boosted up even more because they either A, don't have to go to work throughout the week, or B, they ain't got to go to school. So you better believe them player numbers are up right now. Anyway.
600,000 players. An extra 200,000 players are playing on the weekends. Daily. This is just a handful. This is, again, like trying to compare Marvel Rivals and Overwatch. You see Overwatch Twitch numbers be higher than Marvel Rivals, but when you go take a look at the Marvel Rival player base, it is 3 times bigger than what they have actually watching the fucking game.
Below where it was before.
All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to my reaction.
Was demonstrably one of the worst games, or one of the worst versions, because how else does every metric for the game immediately decrease below where it was before? Because you went from these numbers prior to the 2.x update to literally having them by the time it's over. And then you also have the developers apologizing for the story too. That's the context.
Yeah, apologizing for the story in relation to the storytelling method, not the writing for the characters, not the setup that they did before we got into version 2. In particular, it's only been about the storytelling, which they did handle and fix.
That you should be having unless your only goal is to mindlessly glaze this update. But unfortunately,
it's not mindlessly glazing it, it's giving it its rightful flowers where you need to give it. And not doom post about it like you do for every Zenless Zone Zero update. Let's be fucking for real. This cornball, Saint Tontas, has doom posted every last Zenless Zone Zero update. Since start to finish. Or rather, start to current. He has doom posted every last update. He doom posted the last update for version 2.3. He doom posted about 2.1. Doom posted about 2.0. Pretty sure he doom posted about 1.6 and 1.7 and 1.6. Pretty sure. Was he talking about Zenless back when 1.5 came out? Possibly. So I'm going to say he doom posted about that too. Unless someone proves me wrong. But yeah, this nigga been doom posting about this game the entire time. Nothing but doom posts. So the fact that he's sitting here acting surprised that people give him a whole bunch of dislikes on his 2.0 live stream, where he, again, go check out my video that I made talking about the Zenless Zone Zero anniversary reward drama, right? It only stems from the fact that this clown over here tried to downplay the rewards to say they're useless, that they're meaningless in comparison to Withering Waves. That was his whole argument. Go check that video out for yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. Anyway, let us continue.
History is repeating itself, ladies and gentlemen. The community has decided, because they're getting free things, free skin, a free 5-star, that can suddenly wash away the awful business practices and the demonstrably proven instances where Hoyo has fucked players in the past.
You mean the same predatory business practices that we seen Withering Waves also do? Are you going to call that out? Oh, that's right, you don't, because it doesn't fit the agenda.
This is the third relaunch of the game, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not a relaunch, it's a turning point. I'm tired of hearing this word relaunch. 1.4 was the relaunch. Version 2.0 was an update. Version 2.5 is an update. 2.0 and 2.5 are major turning point updates for the game. That's what those are. So saying that it's a relaunch is incorrect. These are turning points. And for my Zenless players and my viewers who play Zenless only, do know we need to stop using this term relaunch every time there's a big update. One, because this cornball is going to keep saying that, oh, this game got to keep relaunching itself, therefore the game is bad. And two, it's just incorrect to claim that the game the game is relaunching again in another major version update patch. It's just incorrect to say when the game already did its soft relaunch, which was version 1.4. With a big overhaul of updates to the game and how we played it, and continued to be a thing all the way up to version 2.0 and version 2.5. Well, 2.4 right now. So, yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. You only need a relaunch when something is horribly wrong. And the fact that this is the
Yep, that's why 1.4, version 1.4, that was the reason why 1.4 was the soft relaunch. 2.0, 2.5 are not soft relaunches, they are turning points.
third one the game has had in less than 2 years should be telling you something. So now let's go over some of the most controversial opinions that I shared during this live stream. And let me just show you the actual proof that we can go through to address why I'm having these criticisms. So
I'll say this right now. EO made a video talking about this. He said it's amazing, but he has some issues with this. I will be reacting to it because I won't say I will be reacting to it because I'm not too sure if I will, because it's just gonna be more so me just sitting there listening rather than me actually, yapping about it. So I may just watch it on my own time to understand his point of view, or I may do a reaction to it. Who knows? We'll just wait and see. But anyway, let's continue.
The great new things that Hoyoverse is deciding to add to Zenless Zone Zero, right, are the substat re-rollers, right? People remember that this is something that also
It's a selector, not a re-roller.
got released in Honkai Star Rail. And I had massive critiques for their decision to implement this in the game. And do you want to know why I had massive critiques? Because Honkai Star Rail did the exact same thing in version 3.0. And do you want to know what happened to the balancing of Honkai Star Rail's endgame after these got released? Let me show you. This is where 3.0's MOC was. Check it out. That's where 3.0's MOC was. It was already the most rampant power creep, HP inflation.
I'm gonna say this right now, before he even gets to it, because his argument right here is that with the introduction of substat selectors, he's arguing that the reason why HP inflation happened in Star Rail is because of the substat selector, not because of the fact that every new DPS that came out was clearly 2 or 3 times stronger than the previous DPS. So we can essentially say that this is a goalpost shift, because the argument people gave for why HP inflation was happening had nothing to do with the substat selector. It was entirely built on, 1, new 5-star DPS is coming out each patch. 2, best in slot supports for said 5-star DPSs. And they're like base damage numbers just like being slightly higher than the last DPS. Essentially, right? For my Star Rail players, correct me if I am wrong. But again, this was never the argument. But now we've goalpost shifted the argument to say that the reason HP inflation happens in Star Rail, and now, by his own logic, in Zenless, it's because of the substat selector. Does that not sound stupid to you? Does that not sound utterly retarded? Like, what? So that means from this point moving forward in the future, no one can sit here and make the argument that characters, the release of new 5-star characters who are DPSs and best in slot support units are the ones that cause HP inflation. We can no longer make that argument anymore. Based on Saint Tontas' own logic, that means if I see this nigga make another argument talking about something why HP inflation has happened in Zenless and in Star Rail and in Genshin, if he dares to mention a character if he dares to mention a character and not the freaking substat selectors for the reason why, you'll know that this nigga was being a blatant hypocrite and being blatantly obtuse in this video. Keep that in mind.
Inflation in the history of the game, right? Look at where 1.0 was. That's 3.0. They released the substat re-rollers on this patch. So that was the
Yeah, 1.0 HP is of course way lower because that's the start of the game, and new DPSs and new supports and new niche teams and all this other stuff, new boss mechanics are coming out, which they of course have to increase the HP, because if not, these people would just wax it with ease and be like, oh man, the game's too easy, which happened with Zenless Zone Zero. So they have to increase the HP. It's a natural, gradual thing that happens over time.
The justification for the HP inflation.
And this is going to happen with Rhythm Waves for version 3.0 as well, seeing as that they're implementing the Tomb Break mechanic into the in-game, and we already see HP inflation happening when it comes down to the Tower of Adversity and for Whimpering Ways. So you can imagine non 3.0 characters being able to clear the end game for Wuwa comfortably, if not better than every other unit in the game. So I can't wait for people to try to play hardcore defense when this happens to Withering Waves.
You can get better rolls now. That's where it is right now.
And I need to make this argument as well. There is nothing wrong with having a substat selector, especially considering the fact that if we run on the assumption that HP inflation did not happen because of substat selectors, but instead a substat selector was created and given to the players so that the players can have a way to make their characters more versatile and optimal so that they can deal with HP inflation and deal with boss mechanics. Or not deal with boss mechanics, but purely deal with HP inflation so they can deal more damage or so on. Provide more support to the damage dealer, more shield support, and all this other stuff. That sounds like a deterrent against HP inflation rather than the cause of it. And on top of that, character buffs that's been happening for Star Rail. Granted, they've only done 4 characters right now, but this isn't to say that they won't do it for future characters. Zenless Zone Zero, guess what? They've been buffing their characters as well, with HP inflation increasing as with the fact that the game has HP inflation for bosses. We know this, right? But they're tweaking and buffing characters. We got up to 5 characters being buffed. 2 of those 5 have already been buffed, and they're adding more buffs to them. Like, Zenless put his cock on the table and is slapping him with it. He refused to accept what's in front of him. He takes a banana in front of his face instead of a cock. Excuse my example. Excuse my example, but I just needed to say that. Oh my goodness gracious. But anyway, to get back to the point. So now that Zenless Zone Zero is going to have a substat selector, that means, guess what? Character buffs plus substat selector to select stats for your artifacts and your disk drives means, oh, this is how they're going to balance the in game. Shoot, even what they tweaked for the in game, especially for shield defense, in my opinion, is a really good thing. Cut it down from 7 and give it 5 floors. Give the 5th floor 3 bosses to fight instead of 2. That's better. Because people will be able to easily blow past floors 1, 2, 3, and 4, realistically. Right? Because floors 1, 2, and 3 are mad easy. Floor 4 and 5 are probably going to be a little more difficult. Which I prefer that versus having to do 7 floors. Right? Anyway, let's continue.
So, it was already...
Basically, to sum up my argument, character buffs plus substat selector equals a deterrent to balance HP inflation in the game. That's what those are for. Those things did not cause HP inflation. Those are the deterrent against it that the devs have thought of. That's my position on it.
Already the biggest peak in the history of the game, and now the peak has gone higher. But think about it this way. That's where it started. It already looked massive here. Now look at where it's at. Down here, 4 million. Now we're at like 25. So that's the progression of HP.
And I would say this too. By his logic doesn't even make sense. If we are pinning the blame on substat selectors for the reason why HP has gone up, then you have to explain to me why in the world did HP go up before substat selectors came into the game. How did that happen if they didn't exist prior to that? Prior to version 3.0 for Star Rail and prior to version 2.5 of Wuwa. Prior to version 2.5 of Zenless, my bad. Like, how did HP inflation happen if those substat selectors didn't exist prior to them being implemented into the game? How does HP inflation happen then? Unless we're going to goalpost shift backwards to characters and blame it on characters.
HP in the game after they release the substat rerollers. And when these are also available in the store, right? They're available.
Yeah, they're available in the store and you can obtain them by just playing the game, or you can craft them. Actually, hold up. From that imagery that I'm looking at on the screen, that looks like you can craft them.
When these
Okay, hold up. These discs, you can get these by just playing the game, and I think you can probably craft them because aren't these two what makes up this? I may need to turn Zenless on right now so I can see for myself. Oh boy. I guess that's not gonna work right now. Let's continue.
These are also available in the store, right? They're available in the store, so they monetize these, and you need them to clear an HSR now, because that's where the balancing has gotten. You need to buy them from the store now.
You don't need to buy them from the store. You can buy them from the store. If you are a spender, you can get them from just playing the game and by getting them from the store. If you're free to play, you can just get them from playing the game. And I need to say this. What's the issue with using a tool that helps you better your characters so that they can deal with HP inflation in the in-game? What's the problem with that? What's the problem with using a tool that benefits you, the player? Even if it's monetized, it benefits you, the player. We can argue that pulling for weapons is monetized, and that betters the character, which then betters you, the player, who is the consumer / player of this product that is a gacha game. Same thing applies to characters as well. Same thing applies to their dupes and copies of their weapons. But we're going to complain about this. Make it make sense.
Clear an HSR now, because that's where the balancing has gotten. You need to buy them from the store now. That's the new expectations that are set, guys. They add in substat rerollers. You can buy them in the shop, and they make it so that the end game requires all of your characters to have used those substat rerollers because they HP inflated everything in the game.
And I still don't see an issue with that, especially when the tool again is used to better your character and your characters as a whole. If you're not putting forth the energy or the effort to better your character, and then you're going to complain about in-game HP inflation, honestly, your word's going to have little weight in the conversation. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, you may disagree with this take of mine, but I stand on that. You can explain why you disagree in the comment section below. Again, this is a tool to help better the player, both for free-to-players and for spenders. We already know the spenders, the whales, are going to be doing it 10 times harder. Why do you think these guys go for having the perfect character builds? Because they're spending extra money to get extra energy to farm more, to get the best artifact set. They're using the selector to get the best artifact set substats and whatnot. So it's clearly working.
Game to infinity and beyond. That's the proof. That's what happens after Hoyo adds them into the game.
This is not proof, this is his speculation. We need to recognize the difference between proof and speculation. If the devs have not come out and said, or if there hasn't been any evidence that comes from the company themselves explaining why it is that they decided to create these substat selectors, and that these are the direct result of HP inflation in the form of these created HP inflation, then this is his speculation, not the truth.
Game. Why are players celebrating?
AKA he's theory crafting again, like he did with the whole why Wuthering Waves doesn't have good voice acting for its voice cast, blah blah blah, which he got called out on via voice actor, in English dub voice actor, the GOAT himself, Sayu. And if you knew him before his VTuber name, then you knew him as Alejandro Saab, W voice actor, by the way.
Celebrating this edition. Why are players so excited for this edition?
Probably because they're tired of having to deal with RNG when they're, trying to build their characters in a certain type of way. If you're trying, for example, Dylan wants damn near, if not 100% crit rate. Could you imagine actually, you can't imagine. For people who pull for Dylan but didn't pull for her weapon, aka Ma, I have to find a way to build up her crit rate to at least 90%, if not 100. I have a homie of the Discord who showed me a screenshot of his Dylan having 100% crit rate. And I think he pulled for the weapon as well. But still, getting 100% crit rate sounds unbelievable. Why wouldn't you want a substat selector that's going to help you get that 90 to 100% crit rate for Dylan so that she can perform even better. Perform at the maximum. Why wouldn't you use it? Why wouldn't you want such a tool? Despite the fact it benefits you, the player. Someone let me know how that's crazy. Because once they introduce this to Withering Waves, if they haven't done it already, he has to make an argument that Withering Waves HP inflation went up because of these substat selectors, and that they're predatory because you have to buy them from the store. I can't wait.
Why are players celebrating this edition? Why are players so excited for this edition?
Because it's for the betterment of their account, depending on what characters they have in their account as well. I should have also said that earlier.
When they added it to HSR, it killed the game. How is me critiquing?
It didn't kill the game. Let's be fucking real. The game isn't dead. It's still alive. If anything, it made you want to build your characters more properly. And apparently, from Foxhole... Hold up. Oh. Foxhole. Apparently, he said somewhere around here that there are people who use... who play Star Rail that he knows that sent him gameplay of them beating the in-game with older characters. More than likely, characters that they use the substat selector on to beat the in-game. And also, they turned off autoplay so they can play it manually. I can't remember what point in this video he said it in, because it was a while ago when I listened to this the first time. But I think that's something worth noting. For my Star Rail players, y'all let me know. Are we still able to beat the in-game content in the game as of right now with older units using substat selectors? If so, then there goes the answer. If not, oh well. It is what it is.
Critiquing this suddenly so negative. Oh wait, the Hoyoverse community is full of dumb fucking children who have no pattern recognition at all, who are literally not able to see that when Hoyo does something predatory in one...
Again, how is this predatory? How is giving the players a substat selector for free that you can get from the game itself, and if you want to spend money, you can get it as well? How is that predatory? When both sides of the dime can get it to then make their characters better. How is it predatory?
One game, they do it in another. Because you want to know what else is predatory in this fucking update? Exploration. Jump. Her exploration mechanic is teleport up several stories. So, Hoyo added...
I'm going to provide the clip that shows in detail to this because he doesn't provide it. It's right here. Here we go. Let's play it. He claims that we have to spend money to get Zhao Guang in order to be able to traverse in the new area. This is his claim.
地图中也有特殊能力，见光掠影，在空洞中。
Look at that. When encountering some intersecting ruins in the hollow.
遇到一些交错的残骸，难以形成通路。
That blocks our path forward. She will basically use this. And you see, these are placed here. She's the only character that can interact with this. So this means that she isn't really built with the kit of teleportation built into her. It's more so they built it into the area and they only had her be able to interact with it. This isn't she is built with teleportation to her kit. This is the area has points of entry that will allow for her to move from point A to point B thanks to these, because only she can interact with it. Now, if you didn't grasp what I was saying, I hope you did. If you didn't, or if you did, but you disagree, let me know. But from what I'm gathering from this, she can only interact with this in certain locations, as they just explained verbatim in words. They said that in some intersecting ruins that blocks your path forward,
时，小光就可以通。
Zhao Guang can quickly move around using her flying sword. But as we saw from the gameplay, these certain pinpoints that are in the air will teleport her from point A to point B because only she can interact with it. I wouldn't call this a exploration kit built into her character. More like the exploration kit is built into the area and they made her only be able to interact with it.
小光在新版本的沙田地图中也有特殊能力，见光掠影，在空洞中遇到一些交错的残骸，难以形成通。
Like even the icon on the map for when the next one is shows.
在空洞中遇到一
Right? Boom. You see that? This is the icon for that warp thing. This is it here on the map. Right here. Right? So, this is built into the area. The warp mechanic is built into the area, not into the character. This further supports my claim.
残骸难以形成通路时，小光就可以通过飞线来快速移动。大家在主线与活动中都。
This is equivalent to the grapple mechanic in both Genshin and in Wuwa, and being like, or even in Star Rail, and being like, oh, because said character can interact with it, therefore it's predatory. It's like, what? Last time I checked, the Saurians also had the ability to interact with the grapple mechanic, and not just the 5-star characters from Natlan, in particular Kanich. So, and in Wuwa, they just gave you the grapple hook and various points of grapple points as well. In Star Rail, there was certain warp mechanics that warped you across the area, because there's no such thing as true exploration in that game, in the sense of open world exploration, right? You have to teleport, you have to shuffle the map around to get across from point A to point B, all this other stuff. Solve puzzles that then would open a pathway for you. What, if anything, Zenless Zone Zero's exploration is similar to Star Rail, but the difference is Star Rail is turn-based, while Zenless is instant-based, which means we don't have to like attack a character, boom, sent into a battlefield. It's more so we attack them there and, you know, fold them to the floor.
都可以体验到。
早知邪果然是遇见高手，这赶路的方式好帅啊！不过说了半天。
All right, that's enough of that. Let's get back to the video.
Exploration mechanics in Natlan, right? Locked behind limited units. Good luck using a bike without Mabuika. Now they added...
Mabuika's bike is not impressive in the slightest. Let's be freaking for real. Niggas who overgassed her bike to be like, oh, it's the most crazy thing ever, is not. Her exploration ability in comparison to other Natlan characters, and even in comparison to the Saurians, is not worth talking about. She can hardly go up walls without her bike deactivating. She can't even traverse across the water without her bike deactivating after a short period of time. Covering across ground, she got it. But water and mountain, she can't handle that. In the sky, it's brief before it deactivates. So no, she is legitimately honestly the worst with exploration built into her kit in comparison to other Natlan characters.
Let me see if I can get the exact gameplay of what Yi Shungai...
So you don't need Mabuika's bike to explore Nodcry or any past region in the game, because guess what? They built exploration mechanics into each and every region in the game when it came down to Genshin. Granted, I will say this, when it came down to early regions such as Mondstadt and Liyue, we didn't really have that many exploration mechanics built into the region that helped us traverse across mountains and stuff with ease, in comparison to like Inazuma all the way to Nodcry. Like every region and sub-region we got from Inazuma all the way to Nodcry had exploration mechanics built into the area, which were fun to use and made exploration easier in comparison to Mondstadt and Liyue. Granted, exploration in there was still easy, but you know, traversing mountains was a little difficult, especially with the stamina bar being low. It's like, oh my god.
Guys, exploration mechanic looks like... Look at where she is! Are you serious?
It's crazy. This is purposely not listening to anything they said. He's reacting rather than actually seeing what's being said and actually engaging in the views in good faith. Also, both freeze frames of him in different shirts and different caps, disgusting work. I'm gonna be honest. Two sides of the same coin. They're both nasty niggas.
She literally just skips the entire map. So they take the worst and most predatory elements.
She didn't skip the entire map.
From their other games and just implement them into...
She took a different route.
Their new games. So you have literal proof. That's what Hoyo does.
That's not literal proof. That's assumption. Sorry, twin. If that's the case, don't you think every character for version 2 should have some exploration mechanic built into their kit that allows for them to traverse version 2's aerial, or what you call it? What they call it? Aero space area or hollow or lemon hollow limit. You get the point I'm saying, right? Shouldn't every character from version 2 have such ability? Oh, that's right. There's only 2 characters with anything tied to an exploration ability in Zenless, and that's Shifu, Yishin Shifu, and now Zhao Guang. So there's only 2 characters. Do you think people were complaining about Shifu's exploration ability when it really didn't serve much other than to be like, oh, she just, hovering across the ground. Okay, that's cool that she's hovering across the ground. That doesn't stop the fact that other characters can freaking sprint across the ground too and dash from point A to point B. Who cares? It's not a big deal. It's not a hamper on exploration if you do or don't have that character. Nor is it an enhancement to the exploration either. Granted, you could argue that Zhao Guang's is, but Zhao Guang's quote-unquote enhancement is extremely limited, as we saw with the gameplay.
They take the most predatory mechanics from older titles and put them in the new ones. So how can you not be confident that they're just going to do the same fucking thing that they did in HSR and ZZ?
Because, one, we're not going to Doom post until proven otherwise. That's why, Cornball. You wonder why people aren't going to jump the gun? It's because people got brain cells that know better than to jump the gun. Duh. Before we start assuming the worst, how about we wait and see what happens? That's the smarter move to do, rather than to be reactionary and immediately assume the worst and only pray and hope that your Doom post was valid.
ZZZ. You have to be blind. You have to be toxic positive. To be at the point where you're trying to downplay somebody's critiques for what these developers have said they're going to do. Because that's what happens when you have a horrific track record as a company. Do you want to know how I would feel about the substat re-rollers? Do you know how I would feel about them if HSR hadn't already played its hand? I wouldn't have said this. I wouldn't have critiques for it. But because Zenless Zone Zero is a Hoyo-verse game, and
there we go. That's the reason why he hates Zenless. It's purely on the basis that it's a Hoyo-verse game. He can't even critically assess this game based on its own merit and what the game has done to better itself for not just its own lifespan, but also for the players as well. He's not going to talk about all the good improvements that the game has done. He's only going to nitpick and find a way to complain about the game, to say that, oh, the game's falling off, oh, the devs gave up, so on and so forth. We see so many titles on this nigga's channel alone expressing this over and over and over and over and over again, to the point that it's like, okay, if this is all that's happening in the game, why in the world has this game not EOS'd? Why have they not stopped making money? Don't you think the money should have stopped by now? Don't you think the game should have EOS'd by now? Don't you think this game should have fell into obscurity by now? Since it's doing so horribly, since it got so low views on Twitch, based on that Twitch tracker he pulled up earlier, why the game isn't dead yet then? I need to know. If it's purely on because it's a Hoyoverse game, and when that's not a good enough answer to me. Sorry, I need a better answer than that. That's such a too easy go-to answer to just blame it on, oh, well, because the defenders of the game are the reason why the game's still alive. F all that, twin. The game would have been died even with its people throwing hundreds of dollars at it every damn paycheck. This game shouldn't be making past $1,000 a month then, if it's doing so horribly.
And this is what Hoyoverse games do when they add this mechanic. I have to assume the worst, because you want to know what...
You have to assume the worst because you hate Hoyoverse and everything it does, but it's in the same vein, you let Wither and Wade slide with doing this similar predatory business practices as we've seen since version 2 till now. You are a biased individual who cannot be unbiased.
Else the Zenless Zone Zero team did, that's right in the Hoyo playbook, release this absolute fucking abomination of a unit.
I'm gonna say this right now. First and foremost, he's about to make the... before I even let him flap his gums, he's about to, because I did this reaction, or almost half this reaction before, he's about to make the argument that Dylan completely freaking threw Jufufu into the trash can because Dylan allows for players or characters to use their ultimate immediately, and on top of that, allow for them to keep their ultimate for a second time. Meaning, if you pop the ultimate, once you activate the chain attack ability that belongs to her when you hold down the basic attack, she will then, after you do your ultimate the first time, you still can do the ultimate a second time. And because of the fact that her EX specialty, her EX attack has a 40% crit damage increase, or just damage increase. Therefore, Jufufu is useless, and Jufufu is an irrelevant character now, or has been power cut by Dylan. Despite the fact both Jufufu and Dylan provide two different things. Jafufu provides a crit damage increase to about 20 to 40%, if I'm remembering correctly. And on top of that, Jafufu refunds decibels and gives decibels. She gives 1,000 decibels and she refunds 300 decibels based on her additional ability when her team requirements are met, which is she wants to be on a team of attack and rupture agents. In the same vein as Dai-Lin. Dai-Lin wants to be on a team of attack and rupture agents. Also, Dai-Lin's EX special attack, depending on the team that she's on, if she's on a team with attack or rupture agents, the damage of her EX special attacks are increased or enhanced thanks to either the attack agent's attack damage or attack percent, and for rupture agents, it's based off their sheer force. Hold up, let me see if I can pull the game up right now, because I really want to pull this up. What the crap? Oh shoot. What didn't happen to my stuff? What didn't happen to you? Why you ain't turning it on? Alright. That should do it. I don't know why this thing is doing like that. Wait. There we go. Sorry about that. I just got to read the EX special skills before he does, because he's about to go on a tirade and lie off his ass. I guess I'll also say this as well. If you failed to pull for Dai-Lin or decided to skip Dai-Lin, you are still golden, because if you pulled for Jafufu, guess what? You get an increase in crit damage thanks to her, and refundable decibels, and get handed decibels, which are great for building up your, guess what? Ultimate. Which means she cuts the time in half for you to build up your ultimate. It's as simple as that. Dai-Lin, of course, she lets us use the ultimate immediately, and then allows for us to do an ultimate a second time, right? But what she provides is completely different from Jafufu's. But that does not mean Jafufu has lost her she hasn't lost her status in being a niche of being in a rupture or attack team. Because Jafufu has a whole bunch of characters who are attack agents and rupture agents that she wants to be on the team with. The same thing goes for Dai-Lin. There's a handful of attack and rupture agents that we have right now that wants them on the team. Because they're excellent stunners. They're immaculate stunners. Who wouldn't want them on the team?
Of a unit who is the most broken, overloaded piece of shit the game has ever seen.
Yeah, just like Shorekeeper, I guess. Piece of shit character. Yet is a good support character for a handful of teams.
Literally makes you think she's balanced like an HSR character. Because you want to know what Dai-Lin does? Dai-Lin does what the past 3 limited stun agents do. She takes their niche and does it better than all of them in one unit. Let's just read.
Okay, so what exactly is her niche? Because it seems like her niche is kind of unique in comparison to other stunners, which is she can provide the ultimate immediately for these characters, and she also seems to be wanting to be she's a character that also wants to be on a team with characters who prefer to do chain attacks as well. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, Evelyn exists for that reason, right? Evelyn wants to be on a chain attack team.
Let's read this line over here, guys. Let's read this line over here. Are you ready for it? The next character to switch in will have their chain attack upgraded to an ultimate. Jafufu is another stun agent, and her passive literally is the maximum decibels for all characters in the team increases by 100. And when you use your ultimate, you get a 10%.
First, another sign of misinformation being shown. He said 100. It's 1,000. Get the number right, my guy. If you're gonna sit here and criticize this game, you should be getting your numbers right. At the bare minimum, he should be having his numbers right. Right? We can agree on that.
10% refund. She gives you a 10% refund on your fucking ultimate. She gives you a free ultimate cast. She just gives one to you. And you want to know what happens when you use this free ultimate?
Could you imagine they release a character like this in Withering Waves? Watch them praise this character to high heaven and be like, look how awesome this is, guys. I bet you on everything. There will be no Withering Waves diehard player that's going to complain about it. But when Zenless players mention, like, hold up, didn't you complain about this in Zenless? Where's the standard at, bro? They're going to immediately dodge the question and be like, well, you're a Hoyo shell. And can't accept criticism, the fact that they are, you know, letting something slide that they criticize Hoyoverse, in particular, Zenless for doing.
Ultimate that Dialin gives you, you keep your existing decibels. You don't even spend them. So it's...
Yeah, that's cool. But guess what? You got a character, aka Jafufu, who gives decibels and refunds decibels. She doesn't take your decibels. Again, Jafufu cuts the time in half needed to build decibels. What's bad about that?
Ultimate that Dialin gives you, you keep your existing decibels. You don't even spend them. So it's automatically 4 million times better than this. And you want to know the best fucking part about this too? Jafufu comes with a restriction.
Jafufu comes with a restriction. Watch what he's about to say next.
Dialin's doesn't.
Dialin's doesn't. As he conveniently passes what's on the bottom of the screen right here that says additional ability. Let me read for you what her restriction is. Her restriction says this. When another character in your squad is an attack or rupture character. Give me 1 second. Hold up. There we go. Dailin's EX special attack crit damage is increased by 50%, meaning she gets an increase in crit damage for her EX special attack if an attack or rupture character is on her team. On top of that, it also says this. Every squad member will gain the overwhelming positive effect. The overwhelming positive effect, when activated, damage dealt is increased by 40% for 15 seconds. So that means damage for the entire team. When Dylan uses her EX special attack or ultimate while overwhelmingly positive effect is active, if the remaining duration of overwhelming positive effect or positive is less than 35 seconds, its duration is extended. So she gets an extension on her EX special and her ultimate. So she gets a crit damage increase. The team gets a 40% damage increase. Her EX and ultimate gets an increase in duration. When she does her EX special attack, when it comes down to rock, paper, scissors, if there is a attack agent on the team, right, she deals additional damage via her EX special attack that is equal to 320% of an attack character's attack. So her EX special gets an increase in damage thanks to the amount of attack that an attack agent on her team has. Then on top of that, if there's a rupture character in her team, she will get a 400 actually % of that rupture agent's sheer force, which sheer force allows for one to bypass the defense of an enemy. So she's basically a stunner who is sort of a pseudo DPS. Right? Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's basically what she is. Her additional ability enhances her and buffs her team. Wait, hold up. Yeah, her additional ability buffs her and her team. But it does a lot of buffing for her personally. And it's immaculate. So, but anyway, to get back to the main actual point was the fact that she also has a restriction, which is attack and rupture, basically.
And part about this too, Jufufu's comes with a restriction. Dialin's doesn't. It doesn't. Jufufu has an additional restriction that they need to have an attack or rupture agent on the team. So if you
also, something else I realized or found out a while ago, but I also keep forgetting about it, is that they tweaked older characters to put rupture agents in their team. Right? For example, the 5-star standard stun unit known as KallaTheYapper, before she could only have someone of the same faction of her as her, or someone of the same attributes as her to be on the team, right? In order for her to get her additional passive ability, right? But now, thanks to the inclusion of rupture agents, she now wants a rupture agent on her team, right? So that means she can now be slotted into a rupture team. That means I can put Monato, Jufufu, and KallaTheYapper in the same team that have a double stun. One will increase the crit damage and do aftershock attacks, while the other one will be able to apply a debuff to the target, and her chain attacks will deal 30% more damage to said target when the character is stunned. So, yeah.
it doesn't. Jufufu has an additional restriction that they need to have an attack or rupture agent on the team. So if you decided you wanted to run double anomaly with her, you do not get this. You do not get this passive. You're not allowed to have it. So there's additional restrictions on top of it there. She just doesn't matter.
She doesn't matter, despite the fact what she provides is immaculate crit damage buff.
Get this passive. You're not allowed to have it. So there's additional restrictions on top of it there. She just doesn't matter. And it's better. It's better and doesn't matter.
Wait, he's reading dial-ins right now. It's literally right there on the screen. Oh, you can't make this up. Bro, you see this? It's legitly on the screen. Additional ability. External line. And it goes in depth to what she gets out of it and what the team gets out of it. Like, bro, come on.
But don't worry, guys. She doesn't just put Jufufu right in the fucking dumpster. Guess what Dialin also has? A 40% damage dealt boost to the entire team as well.
That's what Dialin provides. Now let's go look at what Jufufu provides for the team, shall we? Give me 1 second. I'm scrolling through my characters right now because I put for Jufufu. Alright, so for Jufufu, she increases crit damage up to wait, hold up. This is what it says. When her chain attack, suppressing Tiger Cauldron, centered around the target enemy. Upon activation, all squad members gain the Tiger Roar effect. Crit damage increased by 20%. This is at max at level 4. And when Jufufu's initial attack is greater or equal to 2,800, every additional 100 attack further increases the crit damage by 5% up to a maximum additional increase of 30%. Right? While in the Tiger Roar state, character chain attack / ultimate damage increases by 20 to 40%. So that means they're increasing the damage of the team by 20 to 40%. Both of them are. Someone can correct me if I am wrong about that. Go read the kit yourself and correct me in the comment section. I'm welcome to the critique, or I'm welcome to being proven wrong. But that's what it says in Jufufu's own kit. Interesting how we're not going to mention this, right? And this isn't even in her additional ability. This is her core skill enhancement. For Jufufu, this is what Jufufu does. Yeah, that's cool that Dylan increases the damage dealt for the entire party by 40% for 15 seconds. But from Jufufu, it looks like Jufufu, she can increase the team's chain attack and ult damage by 20 to 40%. Well, there's a slash in between the 20 and 40, so I have to say 2240 because I don't understand why the slash would be there other than to say 20 to 40%. Which honestly makes sense. Because even with her bar, if I fill up her bar when I do her EX special attack or whatever, it should increase that bar up, right? Maybe I'm misunderstanding. But you get the point I'm making, right? Hopefully. Also, the Tiger War state lasts for 30 seconds. Repeated triggers reset the duration. While Jufufu is in the Tiger War state, impact is increased by 50%. Or by 50. So, Jufufu's Tiger War state lasts for 30 seconds, where Dylan's overwhelmingly positive, the damage increase is by 40 for 50 or for 15 seconds. Sounds pretty even to me, doesn't it? That both of these characters provide XYZ. Sounds pretty good for both, honestly. So how the hell did Jufufu fall off?
A 40% damage boost to the entire team as well. You want to know what Lighter does? Lighter gives a damage boost to the team.
You're really going to mention Lighter. Anyway. Lighter, I have him right here. I'll mention this really quickly so we don't spend here too long. I didn't pull for a Lighter, so there's that. I should have pulled for him when I had the chance. I might spin back for him. Okay, where you at, big boy? Where you at? Ah, there you go. The GOAT. Anyway. For Lighter, is he reading the additional ability? Gain stack. All squad members gain a stack of elation while under the moral burst state. The stack goes up to 20 times, lasting for 30 seconds. This increases the agent's ice and fire damage by 1.25%. When obtaining elation, if Lighter's impact exceeds 170, every additional 10 points of impact will increase the buff effect provided by each stack of elation by an extra 0.25%. When any squad member launches a chain attack, it will refresh the duration of all squad members' elation. Elation can increase the ice damage and fire damage of agents by a maximum of 75%. You know what characters would work great in a team like this? Evelyn, Soldier 11, Miyabi, Hugo, Ellen Joe. And on top of that, the fact that he, in his base kit, can reduce the target's ice and fire resistance by 15%, lasting up to 30 seconds. Sounds even more awesome. Does it not? Granted, he's a niche unit for a niche team build, but he's still pretty solid. He may not increase the crit damage of the enemy of the team, but he still provides good damage based on element.
But it's only ice and fire damage. And yes, his is technically a little...
AKA, he's meant to be played on a niche team. Whereas Dylan also is meant to be played on a niche team, but for different reasons. Lighter is built based purely on element type, whereas Dylan is based off whether the character is an attack or rupture character. Actually, let's read this again. What is... And I guess you could say the same thing about Lighter, because Lighter also wants an attack character on his team and someone who shared the same faction. But hopefully you get the point I was making earlier. He's built for niche. He's made for a niche team build, which is why he was, guess what? Miyabi's best in slot team member as a stunner. Because the fact that he can reduce the target's ice resistance by 15%. Or wait, was it by 15%? Let me check again. Oh, wrong button. It was by 50%? Yeah, by 15%. And not only that, pretty sure right after Miyabi was released, we had Evelyn get released. So you had two tough characters get released who want to be on the team with Lighter because of what Lighter provides. Evelyn and Miyabi wanted Lighter, and Lighter came out before both of them. He was built for their team set of builds, clearly. And when you throw Astro Yao in there, it's even more so.
A little bit higher, but he has to build it up, right? You got to intentionally play him to charge this up. All you do on
oh wow, a game that's was based on fighting game stuff makes the player have to actually play the game and understand how to play the game in order to activate character buffs and all this other stuff. Oh my lord.
Y'all in his fucking press an EX special. Yeah, you just...
Yeah, an EX special that you have to press multiple times and not just one time, because just pressing it one time doesn't mean squat, because that's not going to build up the gauge. Also, you got to take energy into account as well. If you don't build up your energy or enough energy to be able to spam your EX special attack, that means you won't be able to get off that, increasing that overwhelmingly positive bar that will increase, that allow for you to even do your chain attack, which then leads into an ultimate and then into another ultimate. You got to play smart. You got to understand how the character works. God forbid.
Yeah, you just press it. You just press one button on her and you get 40%, and it applies to every single possible character in the game, every other possible type of attribute. So it could be
the same thing applies for Jufufu though.
Fire, ice, ether, whatever. He's only fire and ice, and he's got to do
because he's built for niche.
More work to get his buff. And you want to know what the end result is, guys? Let's see what the Pride Win tier list looks like for this game. Probably what you expect.
I'm gonna say this right now. This nigga complains about Pride Win tier list when it comes down to Wuwa because he says they're inaccurate. He cries about it all the time. He bitches about it to the point that I guess he became one of the people that provides information to Pride Win's tier list to dictate how Wuwa's Pride Win tier list would look like. He'll do all that, but when it comes down to Zenless Zone Zero, he'll bend over backwards to be like, oh, look how accurate this entire thing is from top to bottom. We're gonna go with everything it says from face value. Does that make sense to you? Oh, right, it doesn't, because he's a hypocrite.
Expected, right? Dialin at the top, and then every other stun agent in the game.
Every other stun agent in the game is lower when they're only one level lower. What's the issue with being one level lower? If they were 2 or 3 levels lower, I get it, but only one? Who's bitching about the fact that other stun characters are underneath Dylan by 1 layer? And then look at the team build. Jufufu could go on this team. On this team. On this team. And on this team, or with this character, there's 4 characters right here that Jufufu will work with. For this nigga Lighter, there's 1, 2 that he can work with. For Trigger, there's 1, 2, 3 characters she can work with. Not seeing the issue here. They got a lot of team sets for them to work with. Don't know how they fell off.
Is directly below her at the bottom. And if you're unlucky, like Qing
Yi increases the stun damage multiplier and increases the days of her basic attacks so that you can stun the enemy more at a faster rate. Again, how did she fall off? And she's only in T1. She's not in T2. She's not in tier 3. She's in T1. The floor right underneath the halfway mark before we get to T0. How exactly is this a fall off? Best in slot for, her homegirl right here. And homegirl right here. So there's 2 members she works with. Actually, let me go to her character right now so I can see What other team she can work with? Okay, here she goes. Whether the squad attack character or same faction. Okay, perfect. So she can work with him because he's an attack character. She can work with these two because she shared the same faction. All right, nice. For Polka can be put on any of these teams. Because for Polka, let me pull up my girl Polka. For Polka, additional ability, if she shares, when another character in her squad is an attack or rupture character or shares the same faction, aka this is another character that they tweaked to be able to be used with rupture characters. Oh my god, tweaking characters to be able to work with other characters to work with a new class of character. Oh man, that's so awesome. How is that a bad thing? I wonder. Anyway, so she can work with rupture units now and attack units and characters of the same faction. So that means she works with you. She works with you. She works with you. And she works with you. There's 4 characters on this whole team she works with. Oh man, the irony. She fell off.
Yi, where you just happen to be a 1.1 unit. Well.
Oh, there you go. Lycon, I saw him. Lycon works with you. Actually, let's look. Let me scroll through to Lycon. Where you at, big boy? For Lycon, if a character shares the same attribute or faction, he increases the target's stun damage multiplier, or when he hits a stunned enemy, the target's stun damage multiplier is increased by 35%, which is lower than what Jufufu and stun damage multiplier is different from like crit damage and whatnot. So never mind, I'm wrong. But yeah, his seemed to be lower than Qing Yi. Let me look at Qing Yi again. What did Qing Yi say again? I forgot. Hold up. She increases the stun damage multiplier up to 4%. He's a day. Okay, that's it. She just increases up to 4%. Oh, damn.
Well, you're going to be in B tier. That is how these developers balance this fucking game. She just is better than, just objectively better than every other stun agent. And
she has good utility that's unique to her that makes her seem better, but that doesn't mean the other stunners have completely lost value. Another thing that he's not going to mention, which I said earlier, is that Jufufu is an off-field aftershock agent as well. Which means she's not meant to be played on field. She's meant to be played off field. I know later he's going to make an argument about it.
There's no question about it. It's a joke. And so, with the logic that characters like Jufufu, who got released less than 6 months ago, they've already get power crept. Released during 5 months, 26 days ago. In the fucking bin. In the fucking bin.
If you didn't pull for Dylan and you pull for Jufufu, guess what? Jufufu still has great value. Cornball. As I just explained earlier. I don't think I need to repeat exactly what fucking Jufufu does. Well, I guess I will. Jufufu increases crit damage. Also, Jufufu gives and returns decibels, which you need to build up to do your ultimate. And she provides aftershock attacks as well. So it's like, how is she bad again? How did she fall off in value? How did she get her value snatched? I'm trying to understand that.
Didn't even have 5 months, because Dialin came out 24 days ago.
If anything, I'd argue that Dylan is like the other flip side of Jufufu. I would put Dylan and Jufufu on the same coin, but 2 different sides of the coin for what they provide.
Even have 5 months to just fill her niche. She still
fills her niche even with Dylan, because guess what? If you want to put Jufufu on a rupture team, you can. If you want to put Dylan on the attack team, you can. Or better yet, flip them both around. Put Dylan in the rupture team. Put Jufufu in the attack team. Guess what? You're going to fulfill the niche for both characters.
A broken unit. She only had 1 niche with Yizhuan, and now it's gone.
She only had 1 niche with Yizhuan. No, nigga. What? What type of the biggest lie? How can she have 1 niche with Yizhuan when the restriction you mentioned earlier legitimately said attack and rupture? Yizhuan is only 1/2 of Jufufu's team building structure. She's not the entire thing. What?
She is so much better as a Yi Zhuan support than this piece of shit could ever be.
No, they're both good supports for Yi Xuan.
And the funniest thing is, she's the Yunkai Summit character. She's from a different...
That doesn't matter. Aren't there characters in Wuthering Waves who aren't even from the same faction, who's a part of the same team structure? Case in point, why is it that Galbrana and Wandering Swordsman are on the same team as each other, despite the fact they are not a part? Only one of them are from the Black Shores, or is affiliated with the Black Shores. Does that make sense? If we're running on this logic, he has to explain how this makes sense for Wuwa to do this. Or better yet, why is it that homegirl Chisa is put on the same team as like Zanny and Phoebe? Or like the Arrow Erosion team with Kartathea and Arrow Rover and Shakona? Like you gotta make it make sense to me. And those characters aren't even from the same faction as the Rover. Because the Rover is from the Black Shores. While those other characters are from Renacida. Chisa is not from Renacida at all. So how is it that she works on a team that's not related to where she's from? Crazy, right?
Different faction. So they managed to fuck up even like the faction stuff to the point where the characters in the same faction aren't best in slots because they needed to sell broken fucking units, because that's all that sells anymore. Broken characters. Because
only broken characters sells, he said. Well, you better keep that same logic for version 3. Because even in his own video, he legitimately says, homegirl, what's her name? What's her name? Linnae? Whatever how you pronounce homegirl's name, is legitimately a must-pull character by his own admission. So, yeah. And while she works in teams that don't require her.
To the point where the characters in the same faction aren't best in slots because they needed.
What makes you think that Javufu is still not a best in slot team member for her homegirl? Despite the fact that she blatantly is, based off her own team restriction build.
Needed to sell broken fucking units, because that's all that sells anymore. Broken characters. Because the story in this game is a piece of fucking dog shit.
Yep, because we know you don't actually play the story or engage with it, but you want people to take your word that you actually know what you're talking about. Homeboy couldn't even tell me what happened in version 2.1 story related to Alice and Yuzuha. And how is it that both of these characters have a direct, or what ties both of these two characters together based on what they went through in life? He wouldn't be able to tell me because he didn't play the damn game. He couldn't even tell me what happened in 2.2 story with the Obel Squad. He wouldn't even be able to tell me what happened in 2.3 story with Lucy and Yidhari. And he wouldn't be able to tell me what happened with 2.4 story with Dailin, Ban Yue, and Zhao Guang. So, the story is bad because I say so. Or, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, trust me, bro. Like, get out of here.
Shit, and that's not what's gonna sell units, because you have the devs themselves apologizing for how fucking bad the story is.
The story was only bad because of the storytelling method that they use. That's the reason why the story bad. Nothing more, nothing less.
So, you know what they're doing now? Using broken kits to sell the units instead.
And Withering Waves doesn't do the same thing? Was Arrow Erosion not a broken kit to have or put into characters kits? Is the Tomb Break mechanic not broken mechanics that are pretty overpowered, especially with what they're doing now with the game for version 3.0? Those are pretty broken. That makes other version units weaker in comparison to them because the mechanics are now built around version 3 units. In a similar vein to how Natlan characters were built with Natlan character team in mind, was it not? Where you needed a 2 Natlan character team? 2 or 3? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But the same thing is happening now with version 3, where you want characters who have Tomb Break mechanics into their kit to be on the same team as each other. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this. Let me know.
And when that's the method that these devs are using to monetize this game, isn't it very fair for me to say that ZZZ encouraging pulling on rerun banners is predatory?
No, it's actually not. It's off base. How is pulling for a rerun banner predatory when, one, if you've already pulled for said character and you're getting extra dupes for the character, is a benefit for you. And on top of that, you get the guaranteed 5-star of your choosing among those characters among that rerun banner, especially what's going on for 2.5. So again, how is this bad? How is this predatory when you're legitimately getting it for free? And again, you can obtain at least 100 pulls per patch in Zenless Zone 0 at the bare minimum.
Is it the logic when they're releasing characters like this that bury units like this within 5 months that pulling reruns and even encouraging them is predatory?
No, because by the same logic, you have to apply that to freaking Withering Waves as well when they start releasing version 3 units who are support units for the niche that is coming with Toon Break. If they rerun those characters, guess what? We have to say that it's predatory, won't we?
It's not that pulling reruns and even encouraging them is predatory. It's not that the system's predatory. It's the surrounding context behind how these devs balance their game that it's predatory.
The game is well balanced. It's fine.
Because you want to know what the best thing is? You don't even have to take my word for it. All you can do is simply take the words of one of the most respected meta CCs in the ZZZ space. Do you want to know whose words you can take for it? I'll show you. I will show you. Why you...
I'm gonna say it right now. I haven't watched that dude's video about why you should almost never pull reruns in Zenless Zone 0. I'm gonna say this right now. I disagree with the take of the video before I even react or even watch the video on my own time. I may react to that video just to see what the argument is about. But other than that, I disagree with the framing of the title of the video, first and foremost, because it's implying that this is a Zenless exclusive issue when it's not. That applies to all gacha games. Why you should almost never pull for rerun banners. That applies to all gacha games. That is not exclusive to Zenless. So I already disagree with that off rip. So, yeah. Also, just because Homeboy gave his opinion about it does not mean his opinion is the objective fact of the matter. But again, I still have to react to this video or watch it on my own time.
You should almost never pull reruns in Zenless Zone 0.
Also, from Fox Soul, I know Fox Soul mentioned this in his reaction to this video made by Clown Boy, is that it depends on someone's account on whether or not they should pull for a rerun character. Let's say this. If you have an anomaly character and you want an anomaly support and Yuzuha is rerunning on the rerun banner, why would you not pull for Yuzuha? An anomaly support unit. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Or let's say the reverse. You pulled for Yuzuha, an anomaly support unit, but you don't have an anomaly character that you can use as a DPS. And Miyabi is rerunning. Are you not going to pull for Miyabi? What if you pull for Astra, but you don't have a character who wants to take advantage of her quick swap mechanic, aka Evelyn? When you want to pull for Evelyn when she reruns? Or what if a Rupture support unit? Would you not pull for a Rupture support unit for your Rupture DPS when they rerun? And vice versa? So this whole argument of you should almost never pull for characters in reruns or for reruns in Zenless doesn't make sense when you put that into context. It's purely based on someone's account on whether or not they should never pull for reruns, not on the basis of them just rerunning characters. Granted, I still gotta watch this video, but that's my argument.
why you should almost never pull reruns in Zenless.
And you can tell this nigga didn't even watch the video because there's no evidence suggesting that he even watched the video to understand what the argument in this video was. Granted, I haven't either, but he's immediately jumping the gun to be like, oh, see, this is why this is bad. This is why this is predatory, which makes no sense. How about you actually watch this nigga's video first?
Zenless Zone 0. But suddenly, now the community, because I said it, right? Oh, there's something wrong. Because I don't know what.
Because you're a misinformation spreading rat and a bitch made nigga who tried to bully a content creator who's smaller than you into taking down their video where they criticize you for using your community to attack him and harass him. That's a very good reason for why no one should take anything you say seriously moving forward. And I hope they don't. Personally. Because you don't deserve any type of views on your channel at all. Especially when you're moving with that type of energy. You disgust me.
I don't know what these devs decided to do. If this was any other game, I wouldn't have problems with it.
Yeah, because you would let it slide because you don't stand on your principles. You don't stand on your business. That's why. Once Wuthering Waves does this exact thing, which they will do, he's going to let it slide and act like, oh, this is not the same, when it clearly is. We've seen it.
If this wasn't search info, I wouldn't have problems with it, right? Because one of the systems that they're putting in here is that the first S rank on this rerun is guaranteed, right? And you get 20% off on your first 10 pull. And I said this is predatory because these devs have already played their hand.
That doesn't make sense to call that predatory when you're legitimately getting the first one free. How is that predatory? How? Make it make sense. You can't call it predatory based off the existence of another character. No, that doesn't make no sense. It should be predatory based on whether or not you have to spend extra money to guarantee that you get this 5-star. That is what's predatory, not because you get the character for free blatantly and you get a 20% discount off for the first 5-star. Like, what?
Tenfold. And I said this is predatory because these devs have already played their hand by releasing dumb fucking shit like this.
Good stun units who work, honestly, with you. Actually, we already saw the tier list chart anyway, so you already get the point. And also, Astra Yao is all the way up there too, alongside Dylin, which we saw in the Pride 1 tier list. So why wouldn't you pull for her? Because actually, let me read Astra Yao stuff, because I actually never read Astra Yao's stuff at all. So I need to actually see what the free Astra Yao provides. Oh wow, this is really short. Okay, so she can help access a quick swap chain attack, defense assist, or evasive assist. And when Astra Yao extends energy to release terminal to attack, both Astra Yao and the incoming character's attack are increased. This increase is equal to 35% of Astra Yao's initial attack, up to a maximum of 1,200. This effect lasts for 20 seconds and can be extended up to 30 seconds with repeated triggers. Additional ability. What does her additional ability provide? When she is in a squad with attack, anomaly, or rupture. Ooh, look, another character that was tweaked for rupture class units. When energy is consumed to trigger a passive assist or basic attack finale, Astra will additionally follow up with one tremolo and 3 tune clusters. Granted, I'm not really seeing what exactly Astra is providing, because I thought she increased crit damage. Oh, hold on. Ooh, hold up. Is her EX special attack? It's her EX special attacks that provides that. Okay, I should have read this earlier. My apologies. I see it now. Okay. So her EX special attack increases the crit damage increases all squad members' damage by 9% and crit damage by 8.5%. That's what it does. I guess depending on how much you level it up will increase the amount of crit damage it increases. That's what I'm understanding. Oh, hold up. Stats. Members crit damage increase. Maximum damage multiplier 55%. Maximum damage multiplier is 55% to 4. Increase the days. I'm so glad they put this shit on here. Days multiplier, damage multiplier. This for Ching Yi. For lighter. Days and damage multiplier. For Dylan. Damage multiplier, days multiplier, EX. Attacks increase as well. Depending on rock, paper, scissors, paper, it increases differently among them all. Interesting. Anyway, let's continue. Oh.
I've already played their hand by releasing dumb fucking shit like this. What if in the next patch, they release an anomaly character that's just the Dialin to the Ju Fu Fu, but instead it's the Dialin to this Alice. They release...
That doesn't matter because she's just going to be a team member for Alice. And Alice wants to be on the same team as Yuzuha because Yuzuha is her best in slot team member. So, again, this is a 3-man team game. So, with that into consideration, guess what? That character, if they have anything similar to what Dylan provides or what Jovufu provides for increasing crit damage and all this other cool stuff, they're just going to be the best in slot team, third member for the team. That's it. It's not going to replace Yuzuha.
Release a new attack agent. That's the Dialin to this Sanbi. It's the Dialin to this Alice. They release a new attack agent. That's the Dialin to this Sanbi.
Then Sanbi will have 3 members that she can use for her team, which are Trigger, Jofufu, and Dylan. She'll have 4 members for her team, basically. And it'll be the Sanbi with two stunners for that team, basically. And it wouldn't drop off the value of the other stunners at all either. So what are we talking about?
Instead, it's the Dialin to this Alice. They release a new attack agent. That's the Dialin to this Sanbi. They release a new support agent. That's the Astra. Sorry, that's the Dialin to this Astra. And you want to know what the
Astra is a support unit. She is not an attack unit.
funniest thing is? People are saying, oh, guys, Astra is a tier 0 support still, Unk. Who does Astra support here? Astra supports.
Astra supports everybody because she's a universal character, cornball. Why do you think back when she was released, there were so many people putting her in the same team with Evelyn and in the same team as, guess what? Miyabi. You know, the same Miyabi that you claimed that was going to get power creeped by Shifu, only for Shifu not to power creep Miyabi at all. Ain't that crazy? Also, Homegirl can heal, which is labeled underneath here. And she increases crit damage of the entire squad. So, she works best for everybody.
Who in tier 0?
And talking about some who, and it's kind of crazy. Because people complain about niche team building, right? But then simultaneously, he wants Astra to be like, okay, who does Astra support? As if she's a niche character when she's not. She's a universal character. Like, how in one breath can we complain about niche character team building, and then in the next breath be like, why isn't this character built for niche? It's like, what?
You want to know who supports the tier 0 characters? Lucia supports a tier 0 character. Yuzuha supports this tier 0 character.
Because they're built for niche teams.
Yuzuha supports another tier 0 character. Which tier 0 character does Astra Yao support?
All of them. It's kind of crazy how he sits there and says this with confidence that Astra doesn't support none of these characters. Then you have to explain why the F she's up here this high. Right? Because if you're taking this entire tier list in absolute confidence that is correct across the board, then you have to find out the reason why Astra is even up here. There's clearly something Astra provides that puts her this high up. And guess what that is? An increase in crit damage for the entire squad. meaning she is not predicated to one team. Actually, let's go look at her team stipulations again. If she's on a team with attack, anomaly, or rupture, who are the first 3 characters we see that come before Vivian? Anomaly, rupture, and attack. Oh my good lord. Do we need to say more?
Support. Which tier 0 character does Astra Yao support? Or is it that Astra probably shouldn't be here because she doesn't support any tier 0 units? She only supports units down.
Look at that. You gotta scroll down for the answer. I don't know if this person's joking. I use her with Miyabi and Yishuan because that's the teams that she wanted to be in.
Down here.
Orphe.
This is
Yanagi works with her. Both. Like, niggas are legitimately answering the question. He don't even want to look at it.
Astra supports units down here. But these units only get supported.
Bon Yue as well. Oh my god. I almost forgot about that nigga. Legitimately. You have 3 class types full of characters that fit that class type that Astra supports. Which honestly, attack or not. Hold up. I gotta remember the class types. Hold up. Give me a second. Here we go. We have 6 class types. Astra Yao supports 3 of the 6 class types because the other class types aren't damage dealers. The other class types are pure support for the damage dealers. Which those other classes are stun, support, and defense. Bruh. You can't make this up.
Astra can support Miyabi. Oh, but isn't Yasuha better than Astra in every circumstance? So
isn't Yahuza better than Alice? Wait, hold up. What did he just say?
Oh, but isn't Yasuha better than Astra in every circumstance?
Why wouldn't you use both Yazuha and Astra on the same team as each other? What character is filling that 3rd slot that prevents Astra from being slapped into that team? Because the way he's talking like there's a 3rd character that fit in that team that's taking up space that prevents Astra from being a part of that team. And I would like to know what character is that. Because Alice, let's look at Alice stipulations. My bad, give me a second. Alice stipulations state what? That if there's a character who is anomaly or support. Oh my goodness. So, guess what? Alice would prefer to have both Yasuha and Astra on her team because guess what? It fits her stipulation. If when another character in your squad is an anomaly or support character, XYZ happens. That's basically what Alice's kit says. This is how you know this nigga does not play this game at all. Blatant proof that he does not play this game. He doesn't know nothing about the restriction team build buffs that happened. Cornball logic.
So Astra has been power crept in the Miyabi team.
No, she didn't. Where did you get that from?
It's correct, right? It's a fact. Astra Yao has been power crept in the Miyabi team.
Who replaced who in Miyabi's team? Let's look at Miyabi's team requirements that she wants. Let's look at that real quick. Miyabi wants a support character or a character that shares the same faction, which basically means this. Guess what? Yasuha and Astra are what? Support characters, meaning you can put them in the same team as who? Miyabi. Oh my god.
And Yasuha is who you use instead. Astra also got power crept in the Yizhuan team, and you use Lucia instead.
What does Yishin Shifu want? A character I did pull for, by the way. She wants a character who is a stun, support, or defense character. You can put Astra in the same team as Lucia purely for the sake of it having increased crit damage. Because guess what? Even her, Yushuan's additional ability grants her an increased crit damage by 40%. So stack that 40% on top of what Astra provides, which is, give me a second. She provides an additional 8.5 to that 40% crit damage. Are we following? Are we following here? But anyway, back to the question. Why wouldn't you use Lucia and Astra in the same team as Yishin Shifu? One of them provides sheer force, the other one sheer force and aftershock attacks, and the other one provides crit damage increase. Why wouldn't you use them on the same team?
Correct, right? It's a fact. Astra Yao has been...
Bro, this whole section related to the meta of Zenless is the most misinformation he's spewing. This is crazy.
Power crept in the Miyabi team, and Yazuha is who you use instead. Astra also got power crept in the Yizhuan team, and you use Lucia instead. Astra has been Astra also got power crept in the Yizhuan team, and you use Lucia.
And Lucia instead. No, you use Lucia on the same team as Astra and Yishin Shifu. She didn't get replaced by nobody.
Lucia instead. Astra has been power crept in the Vivian team, and you use Yazuha instead.
No, she didn't, because Vivian, as far as I remember, Vivian isn't a DPS. She's a sub DPS at best, but she's not a DPS. So what are we talking about? Also, for Vivian, I pulled for Vivian. Let me go to find Vivian real quick. Vivian, what does she want? Vivian, when there's another character in her team that is anomaly or share the same faction. Meaning she wants to be on an entire anomaly team. But that doesn't prevent the fact that you can also have Astra on the team, because Astra, heals the squad and provides a crit damage boost. So if you wanted to use homegirl here, Vivian, as a sub DPS, you could, or potentially push it to a DPS if you want to use her as a DPS. Right? Someone could correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's the vibe I'm getting right now. Also, I got Vivian's swimsuit, and she looks fucking hot in it. Like, oh my gosh. Genuinely one of the sexiest swimsuits in the game. Vivian and what's her name? Jane Doe got the sexiest swimsuits in the whole game. There is no question. As much as I love Lucia and Yuzuha and Atlas, when it comes down to their swimsuits, I love it. Don't get it twisted. But the overall sex appeal is increased to the maximum with Vivian and Jane Doe. Oh, wrong button.
Instead. So in every team that Astra was tier 0, Astra was tier 0 here because she was used in all of these teams. And they literally just added in replacements for Astra in all of these teams.
They're not replacements. They're members of the team. They're not replacements. Because who are you replacing them with? Because if you take one of these 3 DPS characters, or characters that can be played as a DPS, or DPS characters, basically, these 3. If you bring these 3, and knowing the stipulation that they want on their team, you can still bring Astra to these teams. So that'll be the second member of the team. So who is this supposed third member that's taking, or rather fourth member, that's taking Astra's spot out of the team? Who? Even for my girl, Orphe, which honestly, I was not going to pull for Orphe, but then I changed my mind because I was like, you know what? I really fuck with her design. I freaking love Orphe. Anyway, Orphe, she wants to be on a team of who? Stun and support. Oh, wow. So she wants Astra on the team. So who exactly is kicking Astra out of the team among these 3 team types? Who?
She still has...
Is it Dylan? It can't be Dylan because Dylan works alongside her.
You mean the unit that's not tier 0? Astra support...
Wait a minute. What
in all of these teams. She still has Evelyn? Oh, you mean...
Evelyn is only 0.5. It's only one layer in between 0.5. I mean, from between tier 0 and tier 1. Like 0.5 is in between. What's the issue with Evelyn exactly? Because Evelyn is still her best in slot team member, or rather, Evelyn or Astra is Evelyn's best in slot team member. Let's go to Evelyn real quick because I didn't pull for her. I may pull for her on a rerun, honestly. Let's go to her. Let's see what she wants. She wants a stun and a support character, meaning she wants both Astra and Dylan. Oh my lord. Anyway, what does it say? Oh wow. It even says that her chain attack and ultimate damage increases by 30% when Evelyn's crit rate is at or over 80%. The damage multiplier for her chain attack increases to 125% of its original value. That sounds like she's become more immaculate thanks to, guess who? Jafufu, Dylan, and Astra. Oh my lord. That's what that sounds like to me.
Oh, you mean the unit that's not tier 0? Astra supports no tier 0 units. And you're out here telling me
she doesn't support any tier. He's claiming that Astra doesn't support any tier 0 units, despite the fact I just read out to y'all that the stipulation that these characters want when it comes down to support units, all 3 characters want a support unit and a stun unit as well. Well, no, she doesn't want support. Well, she doesn't want stun. Miyabi wants support. She wants support, stun, and defense. She wants stun and support, I believe. And then Evelyn, she wants stun and support as well. So it's like, bro, they clearly work together. This nigga just being obtuse for the sake of it now.
This unit didn't get power crept when she used to support every tier 0 unit and now she supports none of them. Do you guys realize that you're just proving me correct by saying this dumb?
This nigga is really retarded. I'm sorry, this is blatant retardation. If he actually pulled up the game and actually read out these characters' kits for what they did, maybe he'd have an argument, but then his argument would still be slapped to the floor because he would have proved his own argument wrong. But because this nigga got an inflated ego and thinks he's right all the time, he can't see that he's wrong.
Dumb fucking shit. Because the funny thing is, I'm right. Rerunning these characters and trying to encourage people to pull on them is predatory.
It's not.
When they're literally releasing supports that are better than Astra.
How are they better than Astra when, one, they want to be on the same team as Astra? There has been no support that has replaced Astra. If that was the case, she would have been dropped down the tier list, but that didn't happen, did it? Right?
They're just better than Astra in specific niches. So literally,
they're better in specific niches, but that still did not cause Astra to drop down in value though. So it almost comes off as they were made for niche, she's made to be universal. Duh, cornball.
Has been power.
Astra is legitimately the shorekeeper of Zenless. Could you imagine making the same argument about Withering Waves when they release other supports that wants to be on the same team as shorekeeper? Could you imagine making the same argument? You know how retarded you would sound? Of course you do, because no one wants to make that dumb retarded argument, because that doesn't make any sense.
Power crept in every team she used to be the best in slot in. And the only team she's best in slot in are teams that are worse than the tier 0 ones. And so all these reruns do is that they're trying to get you to pull units that are literally worse than other units in the game. That's the goal, is to extract value out of you as a player to give you units that they're soon going to
This nigga is just yapping right now. He's yapping about shit that has no way right now.
Place. Because you want to know who knows the banner schedule of this game, guys? Hoyoverse. And when
yep, just like how Coral Games knows the banner schedule for Withering Waves, which is why they're rerunning a best in slot team. Augusta and Yuno. 2 niggas who want to be on the same team as each other. Where's the complaint about that? I want to know. Where's the complaint about it? Because that's just as predatory.
And when Hoyoverse decides the banner schedule, and then Hoyoverse decided to release Ju Fu Fu and make her useless in 5 months, I am so confident that Hoyo is going to make these characters useless within 5 months.
Really? Especially with all this tweaking they're doing, the character's going to become useless. I disagree, and I stand by that. Because if that's the case, these characters should have fell off the fucking mark already and became, was it tier 4 characters already? But they didn't, did they? They remain in what? Tier 0.5, tier 1 at the lowest. They seem to be standing pretty dandy right now.
Because you know what that would do? That would maximize their value. That would fuck over the player to maximize Hoyo's profits. And
yeah, the same thing for Withering Waves. If they release a stun character, or not, a support character for a certain team niche build or for a certain team setup, yeah, that character will increase the value of that team even more so because that character has brought that team out of the gutter because of their existence. Yeah, absolutely. If they release a character in Withering Waves that's a quick swap mechanic character that increases the damage of quick swap, which more than likely they probably already released that character, but let's say if they release another one like it and provide some extra stuff in it that also like increases basic attack, increases forte damage, increases liberation ultimate, blah 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 blah, and all the other cool shit, like he'd have to make an argument for why that's also, he'd have to accept that this argument he's making for Zenless also applies to, guess what, Withering Waves when they eventually do this. Not if, eventually, because they will. But, you know, we all know how he's going to go. He's going to be like, oh, it's no problem with this. They're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill.
And that's what they do every time they have an opportunity.
Anyway, yeah, he just yapping. Let me speed this up, because I think I've been here for a while. Just hearing this nigga yap incessantly. Let's go about right there.
Opportunity. Fuck the player to maximize their profits. What are the chances that they're going to literally make players...
Also, Withering Waves maximizes profits by releasing team niches that's related to the arrow, that's in relation to negative status effects, but simultaneously, they made the majority of those characters who want to be on that team extremely limited with very few 4-star options. If not, no 4-star option.
Players regret pulling on this within 3 months. I have a 100% confidence rate. And
I have a 100% confidence rate that this is not going to happen.
Player who pulled on this will regret their decision within 5 months.
And now that, by that logic, don't you think people should have regretted their decision of pulling for Astra when she came out back in version 1.5? Shouldn't she have fallen off? Oh, but she didn't. What about Sambi? Shouldn't she have fallen off? Oh, she didn't. And she's getting constantly buffed by the devs as well, making her even more valuable. Alice, she should have fallen off already, but she didn't because she has a best in slot team member, and her damage, or at least what I understand, her damage as a physical anomaly unit also rivals that of what's her name? Jane Doe. So what are we talking about?
Confidence rate. Any player who pulled on this will regret their decision within 5 months. Because every player who pulled on this banner regretted that decision 5 months later.
No, they won't. And someone who pulled for both Dylan and Jufufu, legitly one after the other, I'm not going to regret nothing because they're both stunners who provide things that I want for both team sets, for both my Rupture team and my Attack team. So they fulfill both roles. I have both sides of my aisle covered for the future. The same cannot be said about future niggas, other niggas who aren't in the same position as me.
There is no, I can say for a fucking fact, unless you're a freak, you have regretted pulling this unit because they just released a better...
As if, nigga, what? I fucking love my Jufufu. This nigga crazy. Jufufu, we love our Tiger Lolly over here. The freaking short cake factory can get it any day of the week. And she's a W team member as well. W team player who wouldn't want it. Like, what is this nigga yapping about? This nigga must be crazy. This is equivalent to saying like, oh, because of the existence of Shorekeeper, why would you ever get a copy of Verena when Shorekeeper exists? Well, because I want Verena and I want Shorekeeper, so I can have two characters who provide support to the team, even though one is a standard 5-star, one is a limited 5-star. Who cares? They both provide stuff that the team wants. And they both provide healing, I'm pretty sure. Right? I know Verena provides healing, but I'm not sure about Shorekeeper because I don't have Shorekeeper. So, but someone who plays War can correct me that Shorekeeper and Verena does the exact same thing or not.
Better one within 5 months. Isn't it so easy for Hoyo to just, I don't know, go again? Why would they not? They have a fetish for doing this. Otherwise, they wouldn't do this. And so, is me having a critical view.
Misinformation, you meant to say.
On all of these features that you're just mindlessly fucking glazing and saying it has to be good. Astra's still tier 0, guys, but she's not on any of the tier 0 teams. I promise you.
She's not. When did they say that she's not on any of these teams? She clearly is if she's up here. Oh, that's right, because this nigga doesn't play the game, therefore he does not know. That's the reason why he can't see why it is that she's on the team with these 3 niggas right here on the top.
She's not power crept, even though none of the best teams in the game ever use her. She's not on any
who said that she's not used for that exactly? Who made that claim? Oh, that's right. This nigga did.
tier 0 teams, but she's a tier 0 unit, guys, I promise. That's the argument you guys are saying.
This is so crazy to see someone complain about the fact that a character was not designed for niche. Because again, like I said earlier, there's so many people who hate niche team building. But in the same breath, you got this nigga who is complaining about niche team building. Or complaining about a universal character not being niche. And it's like, don't you think you should be arguing the other way around? Don't you want a niche character to be universal so they can have more team setups? Or be usable across the board for every team? Shouldn't that be your argument? Granted, I don't fully agree with that argument. I feel like characters should either be universal or niche so that they can fulfill different roles. That's just me. But anyway, yeah, seeing this argument is crazy.
Can we just stop being stupid when it comes to this game? Because we
Can you stop spreading misinformation and lying all the time? Oh, that's right, you can't. It's built into your content. That's how you make your rent every damn day. Which, you know, I can't hate you too much for it. I mean, you do you to it. You know, you gotta lie to make it way to the top. We understand. It happens, right? Some people can't make their way up to the top without having to lie about it. You know, fake it till you make it. Spreading all that misinfo to make your bread.
We've been around the block.
Also, isn't it written in the Bible of thou shalt not lie? So already this nigga is committing a sin. On top of this, his lying and spreading misinformation. Damn, he's getting hit with a double whammy. Not only by us, the community, calling him out for his retarded take of the 2.5 update, but also by God himself. Damn, you hate to see it.
Block, ladies and gentlemen. We've been around the block when it comes to toxic positivity in this fucking community.
Yeah, even in Wubal's community too, when they got upset about people calling 2.7's update mid and going after any consecrator who dared to say 2.7 was mid. When it rightfully was. Oh, we're not going to talk about that, are we? But we're going to keep talking about how toxically positive the Zenless on 0 player base is. Also, this Inception is going crazy right now. And I ain't gonna lie, all 3 niggas look nasty. You just look nasty across all 3, bro. Chopped to the back. If I gotta keep looking at this chopped nigga, I'm gonna lose it. This Inception is going wicked. This
already shown you the direct evidence where you see one live stream.
Also, is there any more that's worth talking about, or is he just gonna go back repeating points? Because it looks like he's just going back over to repeating points over again about viewership and whatnot. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end the reaction here because I think I've reacted to this long enough. I feel like everything else he's just gonna be just yapping for the sake of yapping, and cool for him. I respect yapping, but your yap is misinformation, and we saw it throughout this entire reaction. I'm gonna end the video here. I appreciate everyone watching this reaction. I know it was a long one. I tried to make it as short as possible. Hopefully it is as short as possible when I, post this video. Anyway, like, sub, turn on the notification bell. Turn on the notification bell. Join my YouTube community Discord. Link is on my channel. Check out my yapping topics and yapping reactions. And stick around for my live stream content. I will be streaming again this Friday, because today is December 24th. as me doing this reaction. So by the time Friday comes, I'll be streaming. I gotta make the decision of which I'm going to stream first. Either I'm going to stream Zenless or I'm going to stream Genshin or Star Rail. I gotta make the choice because these games running out, time events are running out and whatnot. So I gotta make my choice. Anyway, that's all I have to say. This is KallaTheYapper signing out, and peace.